Hi, my name is Ravikiran Kurwa and my project partners are Ankush Babu Devi and Dennis Moroni, and we are going to explain the chart application which we have created in C++ and Java. So in the beginning I am going to explain the chart application which we have created in Java, and then later on my team members Ankush Babu will explain Java code and working of the chart app. After that, Dennis Monari is going to explain the chart application which we have created in C++. This is where we have developed the chart code. Moving to the development of the application, we are using Ubuntu operating system which is version of 20.4, and to run our application in Java we are using IDE called NetBeans version 12.4. This is where we have developed the Java application. This is a project named Chatrooms, and I am going to give an overview of the code we have developed. So first, this is the chat room, and these are the source packages, test packages, libraries and test libraries. In the source packages, we have some client.java. These are the packages that we use to help the client to send the messages to other clients via server. Now I'm going to run this client.java. I'll open this first, and these are the libraries that we have imported to run our application in a smooth manner. Next, I'll going to explain client SVC. This library provides base classes for working with the legacy of SharePoint client.svc. Now I'm going to open this. This client SVC is going to send the messages, and the next, message broker. A message broker is an intermediate computer program module that translates a message from the formal messaging portal to the sender to the formal messaging protocol of the receiver. This is the message broker is an intermediate computer, the protocol sender and the protocol of the receiver. Next, now I will explain about the package named common. Now I am explaining encryption utils.java. To encrypt the passwords of the user and saving it locally, we are using encryptions utils.java. Nowadays most people are worrying about their passwords to encrypt. Now I am going to explain message.java. The full conversation of the users will be saved, and the users can always check the full conversation of one another. Next, I am going to explain my broadcaster.java. The network, there will be n number of users. The messages broadcast make sure that the users' messages will be delivered to the appropriate designed users at the other end, and the user's message will be delivered. The network there will be n number of users, the message broadcaster makes sure that the user's messages will be delivered to the appropriate designed users at the other end. Next, server.java. Take a command from the user and response to them and make sure all the requests raised by the users are attended properly. After that, server svc.java. Server svc provides services to many user requests at the raised at once. Next, my teammate Ankush Babu will explain the Java code and working of the application. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ankush Babu Divi, and I'll be taking over from the explanation of the Java code and working of the project. So, to develop an application or to use an application, UI is the main thing that attracts the users. So UI must be as simple as possible and very much user friendly to the users, so that the understanding of the application will be even more better to the users. So to develop the UI in a user friendly way so that users can understand, we have written a couple of Java classes to make sure that users get a better understanding of our project. So here this chartline.java. In this class, all the actions or events that the user can access and do and perform in the applications are written here. So this is a site that the user can see and access and request the servers that the action that he wants to perform. Moving on to the chart server.java, this server accepts a request and attends to the user's request and make sure the request of the user is done and completed. And for every chart application, a login page is a must and should. So here we have developed and designed the login page of our application, and this is how it looks when we run this application. And the main.java class is the first page that appears when we have run this application. So this class contains the design of our main page, such as for every page we need like a login and a sign up for every application. So this page contains those login and an application and a sign up of the application. As you can see, this is the login and sign up, and this is always the first page that appears if any user is wanting to access our application. This main.java contains all the features of the home page that user can access and use. And this is the design of our home page, where there are a couple of features that users can access regarding their profile, or chat with a friend, or update profile and see the contacts, and etc. Moving on to the profile class. In this class, it contains all the users informations such as username, password, and the contact, which is an unique ID that user should give during the sign up process. And this is a sign up page where every user must pass through. If he is new to this application, he needs to pass through this page, so that all the details of the user will be taken and will be stored in a secure place. And update. If in case a user needs to update its details, we have provided that feature where user can update his details such as username, password, and even change his profile image too. And this class stored all the details of the user such as the name, password, contact, image, and etc. These are all the things that will be stored and can access using this. And we also added a feature called friends, where the user can open the panel anytime and view all his friends and check whether they are online to chat, or can create chat room with them, and etc. and click on any contact to view the previous conversation that he had with a particular person. So these are the classes that help to run the features in our application. So apart from this, we also provided another facility like emojis, where user can use during the chat with their clients, with the other users. So these are the jars of emojis, and this is the JSON file where the password will be encrypted and stored in a local file very securely, and all the details of the users also will be stored, such as the username, password, and image. And moreover, the credentials, when user is about to log in, the server will check whether the credentials are matching while he was the same he given during the sign up thing. So these are the different types of classes that we have written to make sure the application. Moving on to the working of the application, we need to run the main.java file, so that the first page for every chat application it would be login and sign up. So similarly, even for our chat application also it would be the same, like login and sign up. So if you are a user using this application for the first time, you need to sign up and give some of your details, and if you are already an existing user, you can pass through the login page. So considering myself as the first time user, I'm going to the sign up page. In this page, it asks the details of a username, password, and contact, and profile image during the sign up process. So I'm doing as new. The contact is a alphanumeric, so it can contain alphabets as well as numerics. So it should be a unique, so that this is the recognition that other users can identify you through this contact number. So now I'm going to add an image to my profile pic. So this image I have chosen, so I'm clicking on the sign up, and this is the home page which will appear to you when you clicked on the sign up. So as usual, there are some features that you can access, such as a new chat, like where you need to create or talk with another user; open chat, where you can open groups and chat with a group of people, contains 3 or more people; update your account. This account details shows the details of your details of you, and here you can update, like change image, username, password, etc. This is to view your profile, username, password, and your contact number, and you can also always see your image. And this section identifies and shows all the friends and all the people in your contact panel, like who are being registered into this application. So you can always use those details, and you can always open a new chart with the contact number. If you click on a new chart, it will ask you a contact number. So if you give that contact number, it will open a new chart so that you can chat with the friends. So a chat box has been appeared where you can chat with the particular user, and this is your username. You need to click on the join, so the server will get connected, and you are into the application, and this is the place where you need to message and click on enter, so the message will be delivered to the other person. And this is the user I have selected to chat, and we need to click on a new chart. And this user also similarly needs to click on the join, and now both users needs to communicate. If you click on a message and press enter, the message will be delivered to the other person, and the reply from the other person will simultaneously delivered to you. And users can even chat in emojis such as smile, laugh, etc. Use emojis to even make the conversation even more funnier. So this is how the emoji should be given with a specific colon in between the colon with the name of the emoji, so that emoji appears in the chart. So this is how the users chart, and these are the, if you click on the active users, it shows like what are the active users that are present, and these are the active users that are present, and how you can chat with all the active users at once. So moving on to the group section. Now I'm going to explain about the group chats. Like, group chat is a place where a group of people can chat together. So you need to click on this open chat to join to a group chat. For this type of application, like all the users that have been logged into this or sign up for this application can always feel free to join into the group chats. And we need to click on the join to enter into a group chat. So regarding this chat rooms, the user has to click on the open chat so that he'll join a group where all other people are being seen, whether the users are active or not. So if you click on this open chat, click join, he will be redirected to a chat room where he can text messages and all other people in the chat room can receive. And all the people in the chat rooms are being received to the those messages, and even the other users messages also will be received simultaneously to the people that are present in the chat rooms. So even in this chat room also we provided the facility of using emojis, so users can have a little fun while chatting, like with the usage of the emojis. So this is how we use emojis and group chats, and people can all enter the message at once and click on send. So the first person who to click on the send message, that message will be delivered simultaneously the second person and the third one. So this is how the sequence works with the delivery and transfer of the messages to all the users. Yeah, and we also provided the feature of to see like persons who have joined the chat room but are not willing to chat. So we can see the even active status with what kind of users are active. So if you click on the active users, it shows the list of users connected, and these are the 3 persons that have been connected, and it will show the timestamp stating that these are the persons that have been connected and from what's the time that have been connected to this network. If you want to exit this chat room, simply you can just click on the leave chat room, so it appears it takes to the home page of all the users. So all the users have been redirected to the home page, and this home page, all the users, as I said earlier, they can view or update or see friends, new chat, open chat, and log out. And I'm clicking on the view profile, and this is a profile of one person, and this is a profile for another person, and this is a profile for the third person, where you can see all the images of the person that they have updated to this. You can click close if you need. Don't want, you can log out. It will redirect to the login page. So I'm logging off all the users from the account. Once you have logged it, once you have logged out, it will take back you to the login page. So here as you are already an existing user, you need to give the credentials that you have given while you're signing up for this. So only with the valid credentials you can log in. So here, if you see, I have given the password wrong. If you try to log in, like, it throws an error stating that please enter a valid username and the password. So only valid persons can enter into the application. And as you said, it repeats again with the home page and all kinds of things. And thank you. We are saving the password locally, and all the messages that our users are being saved in locally, and everything is just, we can save the passwords and the user details and all the chat history that user has been chatting with other users. These all things will be saved in a locally. So when a users enter the network, those particular details will be get stored into this, and if a users chat with another user, all the history will be saved into this. As you can see, these are the details of the users and they are being saved here. And these are the text messages of the users that will be saved here. So these are some of the text messages which we chatted earlier, and all of those text messages are being saved here. And these are the users passwords and details that are being saved locally in a secure way. And that's it for this application, and thank you. Thanks.
Good evening, welcome to my presentation of a chat application written in C++. There's two parts to this application. There's a graphical user interface. As you can see, I've loaded two applications so as to demonstrate two users communicating via the network. There is also the API. It's a micro framework that purpose is just to store data and retrieve data. And the data here is the users and the messages and the configuration for each users. I'll go straight to the demo. Once the user loads this application, they're presented with a login page. This is the first page that they see. There's two options. There's a button to register and to exit, close this application. Also, there is a login form, which is an email and password text field, and a button that they can click to log in. First thing we do as users is test if this form validates any fields. First validation is user not supplying any credentials. We should expect this to fail, and I've not entered any field, and you see credentials are not supplied. Next is to enter invalid format. So the email address is that and the password is that. These should not let us go through. They're not valid. So validation is strong here for security, and this will help towards that. Third option, now we enter valid credentials. Take note of this window here. You will see the API is being called, and I'm going to go forward now with a user that I've registered previously. You can see a request has been made and we're in. So the next option is to see what happens if any calls are made with a credential that's valid but it's not correct. So I'd say use the same users before and some dodgy password. These credentials are not valid, as you can see. Okay, that finishes the first part of my series demo. I'll be back in a second. Welcome to the second part of the presentation. I'm going to demo how to register. So once the user is logged in, I'm going to log this URL and you send back to the login page. But I'm going to register now. what you notice is the user, as a logged out, the user's been updated to logged out in the API. So any other user that logs in will see that this user has logged out. So let's get back to registration. Going to give it a name, Dennis3. Test surname, and for this demo I'll do 4ds d.com, and the password be password 5, and you notice straight away the password field has been hidden. This is for security reasons, and the age is say 23, and a register. Registration successful, and we're presented back to the login page to log in. If you look at the API request, you can see we made a post request to it with the form details, and they've been accepted, and we got a 200 response. So come back here, we log in as 4ds with password 5, and we're logged in. As you can see, there's other users logged in once you log in your contacts pane, and to chat with a user you click on their name, and you can see this is a new user, so they've never had a conversation with dennis@d.com, hence they can see that. You come here, you can see your profile, you can edit, change it, and do Dennis. Send that. You can see there's a put request, user update, and that's been successfully updated. So if I come there, you see my name is Dennis, and go back to chat. Alright, going to pause and I'll come back for my final. Welcome back to the next part of this presentation. I'm going to log in as this other user here, and we will demo sending messages back and forth. Keep an eye on this window here. This is where we communicate with the API in the backend. And log in. You can see that this user is logged in, and let's see, profile, it's crashed. Pause. The next part of the demo is to demonstrate two users chatting or sending messages back and forth. I'm just going to look at the profile. This is Dennis test username, and that is that, and this is another user, ddd@d.com. So going to select this user and this user here, so I'm going to say hi. So you can see the user has sent a message, and this will say hello. We expect this to be received at the top. That's been sent. And for the chat history, so we're going to log out, and let's send another message. This should persist. Okay, going to log out and log both out. Close the application, launch it again, launch another one and log in. d@d.com. Failed. Password 4. That failed as well. Which password did I set? Okay, so we're going to log in and we need to see the history. So the d.com and this should persist is there. Even if we go to another user, we can see that it's there. The next demo will be a Teams chat. So this sends messages to all logged in users in this application. So hello should send to any other logged in user in the application. The next part of the demo is to show you the MongoDB backend that actually stores this data. So I've used the Mongo CXX driver to connect to this database, and it's really handy, really good documentation on GitHub. I'm going to browse my collections here in the database. You can see the users management tables. These are my users here, and as you can see there are JSON objects, a key value pair. The user Dennis registered is there. The password, you can see it's encrypted, MD5 encrypted. Even I don't know what this password is for the user. We have the created timestamp and other users. For messages, we have a collection here. Tables are called collections in MongoDB. So as you can see if we can find messages that have been persisted. Plenty. Here we go. So the last message we sent was this should persist, and that ends the section of demo in the backend of the DB. I've used a free tier at mongodb.com for hosting. For production, you'd want to look at better, more robust packages that they have here. It's all in the cloud and it's free to test your applications. Okay, that ends that section. We're now going to log out and proceed to exit. This closes the application completely, and the next section we're going to talk about the backend code. As you can see, the IDE used is Qt Creator. This is a C++ IDE. It's really good for graphical user interface, and the project is divided into modules, and this is so as to enable it to be easily portable, easily maintainable. And the modules are, there's a desktop version, so if you need to do a desktop, you need to do a mobile view, that's possible. You just plug in, and then all these other modules you plug into your desktop or mobile version. So there's a networking module as well. This is where the client server connection resides. Client, the server, and there's a worker that handles the incoming clients. So the server will accept the connection from a client and assign a worker to that connection and get ready to handle the next connection. And this is the user's core. This is the business rules. This is where the application logic is. users, messages, and API connection. A user is, this is the data class. I'll go to the header file. As you can see, it's all the basic data attributes of a user that we might be interested in. And one thing is the password generating for security, and a hash is auto-generated, and we never store plain text passwords. So generating a hash, it's really easy. There is a Q cryptographic hash library in Qt. It's pretty much straightforward to get that done. And in the constructor, every time you pass in a password, we auto encrypt it so that we don't pass around plain text passwords in the system. There's the API. This is a sort of an adapter to communicate with the API. So the application will eventually call this with either get, a post, put, a request, and you supply. For example, a get is just a URL, and for a post you need the URL, which is a request object, Q network request object, and a byte array of the data that you want to post. This is also passed in, and you get your request. The put, which is to edit documents, you get your network request, build that, pass it here, and the byte array of data that you want to update. The API will take care of the rest. And that's that. So we'll delve into the desktop. So there's a few forms here. There is a login form, which the user is presented with at the first instance when they launch the application. There's the main window, which is the main page. There's also the register form. The main window uses a stacked widget, Q stacked widget. So there's many widgets within this main window. It's like a book. There's the chat page, the Teams page, the profile page, all are stacked widgets in here, and that's it. One thing I like to mention is Qt has what they call slots and signals. These are very handy because for any action that you need any other object that's listening for an action that's complete for that signal. So as if, for example, if you log in and you've completed successfully, you can see a signal logged in complete is fired. Anybody that's listening to this signal will be able to decide what to do. For example, you've finished logging in, it's complete. You need to let the user in and show them the chat page and the profile page. So that's really handy for this IDE. The next part is the API. It's pretty simple. I'll load the code. So this has been built using Docker for the local development environment, and for hosting the Docker image is in Docker Hub. Also the framework used is CRO C++. It's a pretty lightweight framework. Under the hood it's using Boost Azure. It's a C++ set of modules and libraries that are really handy, especially for network connection. For example, CRO is a network heavy application. So pretty straightforward. As you can see, we have the Bison CSX library. This is for manipulating JSON documents. We also have the Mongo CSX library, which is useful to connect to MongoDB to build queries for searching, for adding, and for building responses to send back. So a quick example, we'll look here, and for the main, we connect our data, we create the Mongo instance, we connect the URI, MongoDB URI. Mine is here. So this is my MongoDB URI. Wherever you have it, you have your collections. Collections are the tables, the databases and the tables that you need. And a quick sample is getting a user by ID. So you call this root, supply the ID as an integer, and using Mongo's find one helper method, we use the Bison CXX library to build a key value pair query that will pass into this function, and that will return as a JSON object value. Another interesting one is finding messages. So this one finds messages between two users. So if this is retrieving the history. So once we've retrieved all the messages, we pass them into a vector of JSON values, our values. So that's where the message responses go to. Once we finish, we need to sort that vector messages, and we compare them. Looking at this, so using the standard sort library, standard template library helper method, we have our object, JSON object, and this object has the timestamp key. So what we do is we want the oldest record to be first in our array, so that when we display, the newest will be at the bottom. So this is where we do that sorting, pass that in. There are many ways of doing that filter. Using a lambda function or doing it this way is acceptable. So that ends the second part of this. This is a fully built image of this API, and it's currently hosted on Heroku, and this is on the free tier as well. And that ends this section of my presentation, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Bye.